Hey yo, what is up everybody, Noah here, and welcome to another episode of the Nerd Talk Topics. Today we are not having a story time, this is not a reaction. Today we're actually going into some real nerd stuff. Today we are talking about Batman, and how he is one of the most relatable superheroes in the world. So let's roll the intro and hop right into the video. So today I was going to do a story time. I was going to tell a pretty funny story about a toilet in an alleyway, but we're going to wait on that. That'll probably be after this video for the next video. But today I wanted to talk about Batman because I was sitting out there in the living room and I was watching some Batman movies. I watched Batman Hush, which I have been waiting to watch. It's finally on HBO, so I went and watched it. Really enjoyed it. And it got me thinking, but then also after that I started to watch this other one called Batman: A Death in the Family, which talks about the death of Robin, of Jason Todd, and it got me thinking with the way it plays out. So this movie takes another movie, Batman Under the Red Hood, which is the story of Jason Todd coming back to life and being the Red Hood, but it has Batman telling the tale kind of his greatest failure of the Red Hood and how he feels about it and how he feels like just a big failure for what happened to Jason and everything and how it was his biggest failure in life. And so it got me thinking quite a bit about Batman and also Batman Hush 2. And so I thought I would just hop on the mic and just kind of talk about it. Talk about Batman. Talk about what makes him so relatable. And just why he's such a good superhero. He's one of my all-time favorite heroes. The only one that holds a candle to him to me really is Spider-Man. But even then, I'm not sure which one I really like more because they're both super relatable in different ways. But I think for me personally, Batman has a little bit more that's able to be related to. And we're going to hop into that. So, Batman, is Batman. I mean, he's one of the most badass superheroes there is out there. But what is it that makes him so relatable? Let's dive into this. It's not the fact that he has all this money. It's not the fact that he's a martial arts master and the world's greatest detective and just could kill you if he wanted to any way he wants, and he can beat Superman in a match if he wants to when he has all his plans and stuff. All those things are great about him, and there definitely are minds out there that are like that. But what makes Batman so relatable is the fact that he is a man. It's the story of his trauma. It's what goes on in his mind and how he's feeling and why he does some of the things that he does. The reason he pushes people away and everything. And for everyone, it's not going to be the same. But for someone like me, I fully understand where Batman's coming from, And I know a lot of us love to pick on Batman and we make the jokes about him running around in tights with his young ward and stuff, or about the fact, his parents died, but he has all this money. But, that's where it starts with his parents' death. I am not a psychologist by any means. I am not a genius in any of the stuff or anything like that by any means. But I understand where Batman comes from and a lot of how he feels, because I've felt the same way that he feels a lot of the times in a lot of the situations he deals with. Batman lost his parents at a very young age. Granted, I didn't lose my parents to, a criminal or something like that, and I didn't lose them at all. I did go through the divorce, which is its own trauma in a way, and then I lost my grandfather, who was my father figure, to cancer. But it's just the fact of losing someone that special to you, losing someone that close to you. What it does to you is it just puts this huge hole in you. It puts this hole in your heart and in your soul that is so hard to overcome. And it just creates these fears within you. And because of that, Batman carries this fear of being close to anyone. And that is one of the most relatable things. If you've gone through something like this and you've gone through the trauma of losing someone close to you, it doesn't have to be necessarily a death. But when you lose someone close to you, and especially in death though, but also in other things too, but just when you lose them and they're that close to you, it really puts something in you and you don't want to get close to anyone because you're scared to lose them too. And so he just has this thing where he will keep everyone at a distance, but yet inside he's yearning to be with those around him. He's yearning to connect with them. And luckily, he has moments whenever he overcomes his fears and actually accepts to be a part of a family again and to have friends and to be loved and love those around him. But at times, it's very hard for him to do because he's scared that they're going to be hurt when he's out on the field. And that's why he likes to work alone a lot. But also that's why he takes in the Robins and stuff, because they go through the same type of trauma, like Dick Grayson losing his parents in the circus accident, being killed by the mob, Jason Todd, his mom becoming sick, and his dad getting killed. Tim Drake didn't really happen to him, but still Tim Drake comes and joins the fray anyways, you know, and all of this, and using and helping them to get through that trauma, but also giving them the reason to fight crime. So that way they don't turn out like him, even though he knows that one day whenever he goes, Dick Grayson at least will take up the mantle of Batman because that's what he trained Dick Grayson for. But Dick Grayson also knows the mission of Batman is you are Batman. You are no one else. You are Batman. Whoever you are before you were Batman doesn't exist anymore. And that's what happened with Bruce. So we all should know with Batman and him being Batman, he's no longer Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne died at the age of 8 whenever his parents got shot in that alleyway, and Bruce Wayne died that night, and Batman was born. And even whenever he is being Bruce Wayne, he's really not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is his mask. Batman is who Bruce Wayne is. And I think that's one of the things I love most about the character, because it just shows how passionate he is for this mission, but it shows how human he is. It shows how fearful he is to reconnect with those around him. And it's very understandable and very relatable again in those situations. I deal with the same situation in the fact of I'm terrified to be close to people. I'm terrified to be close to anyone, honestly, and that's something I'm working on and have been working on for a long time. And even to this day, it is still hard to deal with. It's one of the toughest things to deal with because you're scared either you're going to be rejected or they're going to be hurt or they're going to use you. And so it's understandable, and I totally get where Batman's coming from. Like within this film of the death in a family, and he's talking about it, he talks about with Jason, when Jason died, he doubled his efforts to protect Gotham City alone. And he said alone because then he's like, then no one else will be hurt. He doesn't want anyone to be hurt. And of course, when Dick Grayson comes along, aka Nightwing at this point, he comes and is helping Batman, and he's like, Nightwing comes and helps me exactly when I need the help, but I will never admit it to him because that will encourage him. And he doesn't want to encourage him. He's trying to make him go away so that way he can work alone. Not because he hates Dick Grayson, it's because he loves Dick Grayson and he doesn't want anything to happen to Dick. And as the movie goes on, and in the original movie of Under the Red Hood, they're chasing Red Hood, and Nightwing gets injured. And when he gets injured on his leg, Batman can't even look him in the eye because he got injured and he feels guilty for that. And so he takes that guilt and bears it and goes on, and he tells him to go back to Bloodhaven so that way he can continue the investigation alone. And it's just crazy to think, you know, because like that's just what I love about Batman, because we always will see this dynamic with Batman no matter what, where he is going to have these moments where he's going to overcome his fear and he will have a family again. He will start to accept the family, the Bat family, which he has, but then something will happen that will make him become disconnected again. So it's always this weird in between, but that's also very true for real life. Like I said with me. And a lot of this is more of just like from my personal experience too, and the things I deal with, but also if anyone out there is dealing with these things, it's just kind of to talk about that. So, like with me, you know, like I said, I'm terrified to be close to people too, because I've been used, because I've been hurt, because I have lost people. And so I am terrified to be close to others, because I don't want to be used, because I don't want to hurt them, and I don't want them to be hurt. You know what I mean? And Batman's the same way. He doesn't want to hurt them. He doesn't want them to be hurt. He wants them to be safe. And so he decides that the best way to go about this is to stay away, is to keep them at bay, keep them out of his life. And so that's what he does. And I do that too, honestly. And I mean, I've been working on it not to do that anymore, but I still struggle with that from time to time. And I'm sure there's people out there that do too. And if you're watching this and you do, it's a struggle, you know, it's a struggle that happens in life, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something we have to overcome. Another good example of Batman and how he's so relatable is his relationship with Selina Kyle. Selina Kyle is Batman's love interest in the comics, and if, as you all know, Catwoman, and it's his love interest, and they're in love, madly in love. But again, it comes down to the thing of he has his mission, and because he doesn't want her to be hurt, and because he just wants to protect her, he stays away from her. And again, I'm the same way there too when it comes to relationships. Plus, he's scared to be in it because of what could go wrong, because of what could happen. And I get that. I'm the same way. It may not be that we're defending Gotham City and that, you know, I'm a vigilante and she's a crook. No, it's the fact of just it's scary to go into that after you've been hurt. It's scary to connect with them because you never know what's going to happen, and therefore it is terrifying after you've been hurt, after you've been through trauma, and after you've been used. It hurts to re-enter that connection, so therefore it's very hard for us to enter that connection if you've been through that too. You know what I'm talking about. It's very difficult to have that connection with someone, that special connection that we yearn for, but yet we're terrified to yearn for it because it could possibly go wrong. But Selena kind of plays the same card too, except she's flipped on her head. The reason she sometimes will avoid Bruce, even though she wants to be with Bruce so badly, is because she knows Bruce can't give up his mission. He cannot give up his crusade against crime. So therefore she knows this, and so she has her own struggle to be with Bruce because she wants him to be with her, and she wants him not to focus on the mission so much, but she understands that he can't change, that he is Batman. There is no Bruce Wayne, there is only Batman. And so she understands that. And of course, there's been times that they make it work and everything, and all the time they're still together, kind of, or like whenever they run across each other, it's always the same cat and mouse chase, and then they kiss, have a makeout session, whatever, have sex, whatever. It could be whatever within the comic or the movie or whatever. We see it a million times, but that's just how it goes for them. And I think it's just a relatable thing. I know in my last video, when I was talking about the contracts, I was kind of getting really, frustrated with the contract, about looking at that for the contract for boyfriends. And I kind of said some things maybe I shouldn't have, because I was just really mad. But again, that kind of shows too, with insecurities and stuff, what we carry around will affect those around us. And especially if we don't deal with them in a good, healthy way, it will affect those that are around us. And that's one of Batman's biggest weaknesses, I think, is the fact that he doesn't deal with the trauma the way he should. Even though, yes, in this movie, The Death of a Family, he explains that he had Alfred with him, and so he was able to get over the revenge aspect of his parents' death, but he still has this thing for vengeance burning in him, and that was born that night his parents died. So therefore, Bruce Wayne died and Batman was born. So Bruce Wayne is no longer alive, but Batman is there because of the vengeance that burns in him. Though he may have got over it, he still isn't over the trauma that happened. He may be over the revenge aspect, but he still wants vengeance and justice. He wants to prove that killing isn't the way, and that's why he does what he does. He wants to prove there's a better way to handle crime. And so that's what he does, and that's why he does it through fear and intimidation, is to be able to bring the criminals down, so that way they don't commit those crimes. He wants to save them, but at the same time, he wants to put fear in them to save them. It's kind of like a weird dynamic in that way, but it's real cool to think about when you think about it. Like I said, I'm not perfect about any of this stuff and everything. Like I said, this is kind of just, I got to thinking and I thought it'd be cool to make a video on this, and just to be able to kind of explore a little bit in Batman of how just relatable he really is. He's relatable in the sense of just the trauma aspect. He's relatable in that sense, again, of just yearning for a family, yearning for those to be with that he loves, but he can't bring himself to do it because he's scared, because of what happened before, because of those who have been hurt whenever they've been by his side, or whenever he lost Jason, or, his parents' death. Therefore, he's scared to be with anyone. And it's just one of the biggest things. And it's just so relatable for a lot of people, I'm sure, especially if you've been through trauma. I've been through trauma. I know other people have been through traumas and stuff. And it just makes him such a relatable, cool character. Anyways, I'm not too sure what to add on here, so I think I'm going to end that one there. I guess the biggest takeaway from this is that, guys, if you've gone through trauma or anything like that, it's okay to get help. Don't be scared to. I know I'm still working on that too. But it's cool to get help or to do something that helps you get through it. And kind of with Batman, that's what he does. That's why he fights crime and stuff, is because it kind of helps him. It's therapeutic to him, I think. But also, it's okay to accept those around you. Batman shows us too that it is okay to accept those around you. Yes, there's a risk. There's always a risk. It's always a 50-50 chance in these things. But it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to become vulnerable at times. Even though Batman is super stone cold killer face and everything, and doesn't show a whole lot of emotion, those moments when he becomes vulnerable within the comics and the movies is some of the best material you'll see, because it shows the man behind the mask. It shows that Bruce Wayne is still alive in there somewhere. Even though Batman may have taken over and Bruce Wayne died, it shows that Bruce Wayne can be resurrected. And so it shows for us that whatever died in us can be resurrected. Those things that are good for us and everything, and that we love and that we are craving, can be resurrected properly. It just takes time and it takes the right help. And so I hope you guys take something away from this. This was fun to make. I just wanted to hop on and talk about that for a little bit. Like I said, I'm not perfect about this stuff. I don't have like notes and all this. I just hopped on and just started talking. I probably won't even have like clips and stuff like that. It'll just probably be Batman gameplay. But nonetheless, again, guys, if you're going through anything, don't be afraid for help. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure to click that like button, click that subscribe button, click that notification bell, all that good stuff. Stay up to date. Grab that link physically like a baseball bat. Beat your friends over the face with it. Throw your phones at their face. Something. Share the heck out of the video. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.